Have you ever found yourself searching for peace, not out there in the world, but deep within your own heart? Today I want to take you on a deeply personal and spiritual journey, one that doesn't offer quick fixes or empty promises, but real, lived experience. I'll be sharing what I've discovered through years of inner work, silent reflection, and confronting the emotional and karmic patterns that keep us trapped in fear, pride, or sorrow. Drawing from ancient wisdom, modern spiritual science, and the silent language of the soul, I'll explore the question, what must I do to find inner peace? If you're looking for more than just theory, if you're ready to see how spiritual laws, emotional clarity, and the power of conscious love can transform your life from within, then stay with me. This may be the most important path you'll ever walk. I sit in the silence of my room, eyes closed, watching my own breathing. Each inhale and exhale becomes an anchor that brings me back to the present moment. In that silence, the question arises, what can I do to find my inner peace? It's not a simple quest, it's a journey that traverses the intricate corners of my soul, where hurt and longing, pride and humility, anger and forgiveness mingle. I would like to take you on this journey that I walk every day and share my deepest insights without any pretension, just as a silent guide to my own inner self. Step 1. Understanding the law of cause and effect. I remember the first time I felt how powerful words and thoughts can be. I was in a situation where an old anger, stored somewhere deep in my heart, suddenly surfaced. I remembered the words of ancient wisdom, as a seed sown in the ground will grow into a tree, so every thought within us will bear fruit. At the time, I didn't restrain my reaction to my friend's pointed remark, and in an hour of impulsive anger, I compounded his words with a scathing message. The next day I awoke with fits of restlessness, a sore throat and stiff muscles. My whole body ached, and I knew it was the psychosomatic voice of my unconscious anger. I was learning then that every emotion carries a vibration, and every imbalance within us will manifest in the body. The path to inner peace begins with awareness of my thought patterns and responsibility for my own reactions. When I first wrote in my journal, "I am responsible for my own inner peace," I felt something within me relax. It is no longer the fault of circumstances, not the merit of others or God, but my own work. Watching the seeds I sow and cultivating those that bring peace, kindness, compassion. Step 2. Emotional purity. I once read that the truth of the soul is laid bare by the emotions that are mirrored in our everyday moments. As I faced the painful memory of losing a loved one, my heart contracted into a clenched fist of anger at life, at fate. In that moment, I understood that letting go of anger is not just about repression, but about acceptance. I sat down at my desk, lit a candle, and allowed myself to cry. Each tear was like a drop of cleansing water that washed away the dirt of old wrongs. Gradually, I began to feel my body relaxing, an empty space opening up deep in my chest, calling out for love instead of bitterness. I learned not to judge my own wounds, but to see them as teachers. Emotional purity, then, is not a state of being free of emotions, but the ability to let them pass through me without judgment or appropriation. Step 3. Levels of consciousness and soul vibration. Gradually I began to perceive subtle differences within myself. Sometimes my attention was in the subconscious level of fear, sometimes in the waves of love that spread like a silent stream of light. I found that in each moment we resonate at a certain level of consciousness, and this resonance attracts experiences that match it. When I dive into the level of fear, thoughts of lack, fears about the future, feelings of uncertainty usually come. When I rise higher to a level of courage, joy, peace, a space opens up in which I can create a new life of hope and connection. I once made a conscious decision to enter a state of gratitude. I took all the small joys, the morning petting of a cat, the warmth of a cup of tea, the loud singing of birds outside my window, and allowed them to fill every cell of my body. In a few minutes, my vibration rose so much that I felt a peace I hadn't known before. And suddenly I understood that inner peace was not the result of external conditions, but of a subtle, conscious calibration of my inner self. The fourth step. Humility is a gateway to silence. At times when I thought I had made it, life often brought me back down to earth quickly. The loss of a job, the illness of a loved one, a clash with my own ego all reminded me that I was not the master of fate, but part of it. Humility means admitting my own imperfection, opening myself up to the unknown, accepting that there is a greater force that creates history and every moment of my existence. I remember a moment in the garden when I was praying, not asking, but giving thanks. I was giving thanks that I could experience joy and pain, that I knew what joy tastes like and how loss hurts. During that silence, I heard a voice saying, "If you can accept everything without resistance, you will live in the stillness even in the midst of the storm." Since then, humility has been my daily lab work. In every situation, accepting what comes and forgiving myself if I am not in control of the moment. Step 5. Love is the ultimate force. Love is often described in ancient texts as the force that unites everything. But when I tried to love everything, I discovered that it is not an abstraction, but a concrete choice in every encounter. How I speak to a child, how I look at a passerby, how I respond to criticism, how I confront my own pain. I witnessed a situation where a neighbor encountered a cat-like injured animal. Terrified and shaken, she needed help. I saw her eyes shine with compassion as she slowly and gently approached the unfamiliar creature. In that moment, I perceived that love is not just an emotion, but an action, an act that is an expression of connection to all life. Love is the intention by which we transform reality, not a passive but an active vibration that cleanses wounds and restores harmony. Step 6. Spiritual practice and daily rituals. When I ask what to do to find inner peace, the answer is, practice every day. It's not about one big experience, but small choices. Morning meditation, a short prayer or affirmation, mindful breathing during lunch break, intentional relaxation of body and mind before bed. I suggested a simple practice: 5 minutes of silence in the morning, 3 minutes of gratitude in the evening. When I stuck with it for a month, I noticed that I stayed calmer in challenging situations, that I was better able to listen to my inner self and respond with pure intention. The rituals provided a stable framework within which I gradually untangled the complex knots of fear and pride. Step 7. Faithfulness to the way. Sometimes there is a crisis of faith, doubts about the meaning, about the results, about whether what I am doing is even worthwhile. I used to believe that measuring progress by outward signs, fewer arguments, more restful sleep, better relationships was important. But the most valuable shift happens quietly on the inside, beyond the reach of evaluation. I used to keep a diary of expectations, noting what I wanted to change, what I wanted to resolve, and checking for success. Over time, I realized that the desire for a quick result was itself tying me down. I learned to find joy in the practice itself, in every breath, in every encounter, in every thought that dissolves into silence. And in doing so, I became true to my path. Conclusion. Surrender to silence. What can I do to find my inner peace? I am learning to forgive for myself and for others. I am learning to love not as a theory, but as a daily decision. I am learning to be humble, to accept all that life brings. I am learning to consciously calibrate my vibration to attract experiences that resonate with peace and joy. When I open my eyes again, the light of the candle wavers in the shadows. I know that peace is not a final destination, but a constant presence. It is a silence in which every breath sounds, and a space in which I can breathe freely. And so each day I ask again, what do I do? And the answer is, nothing but to be here and now, heart open, soul surrendered to silence. And in that silence I find my peace. Thank you for following, and if you liked my post, please like and subscribe.